Yo, Liberty, Mike here, baseball collector, and yep, today we're doing 1975 Topps. What a great year of baseball cards. And if you're saying that's a lot of Hall of Famers, you would be right. There are 82 cards in this set, which is a massive number, that have Hall of Famers pictured on them. I have them all, and I'm going to show them to you here today. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to get into it. I love this set. I love all the colors. It's just so vibrant, and we'll see that as we go. Let's start up top with, we got Dave Parker. That's a new acquisition once he got in the Hall of Fame, and Burt Blylev in there. In a 7, you're gonna see, again, a mix of grades. I don't think anything higher than an 8, but there's a couple of, there's an 8 there on the Ron Santo with the White Sox, which is really weird. Brooks Robinson, there you get to see the first All-Star. Love the stars that they use for the design. The color combinations are just amazing. Here's Fergie Jenkins, nice Rangers card. Dave Winfield back with the Padres. Little Michael Jack Schmidt right there in a 7, and Ted Simmons. And the last two on this first row are All-Star catcher Carlton Fisk and Willie Stargell. Yeah, 7s and 8s, 6s even look really good on this set. So kind of that range of grades is very solid for my collection and what I want. Here's a couple great pictures. Necro, Bob Gibson, Joe Morgan, All-Star second baseman, and Steve Carlton. So you got a few action shots here in the 75. Don Sutton. And let's just go to these two real quick. The two main rookies, there's 4 total Hall of Fame rookies in this set. The two main ones, Yount and Brett, are really close to each other numerically within the set, which is how I organize these. And I got a 6 in the Yount and a 7 in the Brett. So those are great. Then we've got Jim Catfish Hunter, and then Jim Cott. And then the Johnny Bench card, which is awesome, in a 7. The Cott took me a while because it's just one of those you don't find graded very often. But look at that bench, it's so cool. All right, going back, we got Yaz, Reggie, Tony Oliva, and Jim Palmer. I think the Oliva is one of my lower graded ones. It's a 4 because I graded that myself, pulled it from a set and graded it. Tom Seaver and Dick Allen. The Dick Allen, obviously an SGC 5, and it does look weird when I pan back and you see all the PSA slabs. That's the only SGC slab I have for this set, and yeah, it does stick out. McCovey, there's the Nolan Ryan in this set, card number 500. Tough card to get a high grade in, or expensive card to get a high grade in. How about Gaylord Perry and Lou Brock? Those are awesome. Last row of player onlys, we've got Billy Williams and Rich Goose Gossage. It's that 3rd year for Goose. You've got Tony Perez, Joe Torre when he was still a player with the Mets. One of the last cards of Frank Robinson. In fact, I think it is his last playing days card of Frank Robinson. He was also a player manager with the Indians that year. Rod Carew. So Frank you'll see in a minute again, the Carew. And you got the 2 other rookies, Hall of Famers. There's other rookies in this set. Fred Lynn, Keith Hernandez come to mind. But the 2 Hall of Famers on these rookie cards are Jim Rice and, of course, Gary Carter. And then the last 2 cards in the set, you've got Harmon Killebrew's last playing days card with the Twins, and then you've got the Hank Aaron finishing out the set, card number 660. So yeah, just a gorgeous set, and when you see them all together like this, I love looking at this because you've got the colors just really pop and stand out. It's amazing. All right, so much other to see in this set. Let me get to it. lots of Hall of Famer stuff coming up. Here we go. All right, now on to some of the cool stuff, extra stuff that's in the set besides the base cards, which there's a stack of base cards there. And we start with the highlights card. Card number 1 there, of course, the Hank Aaron, breaking the homer record, career homer record. Brock steals 118 bases, so you got Lou Brock. And then you've got Bob Gibson getting his 3,000th strikeout. K-Line joining the 3,000 hit club. Nolan Ryan, 300 Ks for the 3rd year in a row. And then the guys that threw no-hitters in 1974, Dick Bosman, Steve Busby, and Nolan Ryan. All 3 of those guys have Ranger connections, so that's kind of cool. So there's that. Then you've got the league leaders. We've got the batting leaders. They did it where they had AL and NL both on the same card. So you've got Hall of Famer Rod Carew there as the batting champ. You've got 2 here on home run, Dick Allen and Mike Schmidt. RBIs, you've got Jeff Burrows, Texas Rangers, who won the 1974 MVP, and Johnny Bench. And you've got stolen base leaders. Lou Brock, he was old at that point. Man, he was still swiping them. You've got the victory leaders here, which has 3 Hall of Famers on it. Hunter, Negro, and Jenkins, along with Andy Messersmith. Decided to join in on that crew. You've got Jim Hunter on the ERA leaders. And look at that cool strikeouts card. I love it when it's either Ryan and Carlton or Ryan and Seaver, and that's pretty often through the 70s, but it's a great card. And you've got manager cards. So you've got the team cards that actually picture the manager. There's a lot of Hall of Fame managers represented in 1975 Topps. You've got the Orioles with Earl Weaver, the Angels with Dick Williams, the Cardinals with Red Schoendienst, the Indians, as I said earlier, with Frank Robinson, the Dodgers with Walt Alston, the Mets with Yogi Berra as their manager, and finally the amazing Reds, the World Series champs that year. That is awesome. Sparky Anderson, of course, the manager of that team. All right, now we're going to look at all of the MVP cards. These are going to be crazy. Wait till you see them. Hang on. All right, the last part of this set that I'm going to show you are the MVP cards. This was a part of the set that honestly at the initial jump I was not going to do, and then I started picking up some and picking up some more, and I'm like, well, they picture Hall of Famers on it, and if that's my criteria, then I have to do it. And it's an amazing predictor of who's going to be in the Hall of Fame is who was MVP, because there's some cool stuff here, including some cards Topps never made. So let's start off. They put 1951 in here, which I love because that is a card set. 51 Topps, you got Yogi Berra and Roy Campanella. Berra does have a 51 Topps, Campanella does not. So they made one up, cards that never were. But you can see there, they'll put the players' names, what year they won the MVPs. So cool. All right, we got 53 with Campanella on it. Move on to 54, Berra and Mays. 55, Berra and Campanella. And of course, there was no 55 Topps Roy Campanella. He did have a Bowman card. And so that's a card that never existed. And then 56, you've got Mantle and Don Newcomb. Then we got 57, of course, with Mantle and Aaron. I remember seeing these as a kid and thinking, man, that's so cool, because I don't have a lot of these cards, so this is just neat. There's 58 with Ernie Banks being pictured. 59, Nellie Fox and Ernie Banks again. 61, Marison Frank Robinson. 62, Mickey Mantle. Maury Wills, of course, he does not actually have a 62 top, so that's another one that is pretty cool to see. 63, you've got Elston Howard and Sandy Koufax. 64, Brooks Robinson, Ken Boyer. 65, has the Mays, of course. 66, Clemente and Frank Robinson. So you got Robinson there, Robinson there. So cool. Of course, he won it with the Orioles wearing a Reds jersey. Good job, Tops. 67, Yaz and Cepeda. So many Hall of Famers. I mean, it's almost every card in this subset has Hall of Famers on it. The year of the pitcher, 1968. Of course, Denny McClain, Bob Gibson. World Series foes. Tigers came out on top on that one. 69, you got Killebrew and McCovey. 70, Boog Powell, Johnny Bench. 71, Joe Torre, and of course, Vida Blue. 72, new Hall of Famer Dick Allen and Johnny Bench. And the last one is 73 with Pete Rose and Reggie Jackson. I mean, those are just cool, right? I think they are. Just so many MVPs, so many Hall of Famers represented in all their Tops cards. You just get to see, you could learn a lot about cards as you were looking at these. So that's it for 75 Tops, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Talk to you soon. Keep collecting.